Year 10 and welcome to your maths lesson today with me, Miss Hyken. Today we're going to be looking at midpoints, and this is a lesson on our new topic of graphs, so really exciting to start with that new topic. Before we begin, can you make sure that you've got all of this equipment here and this title written down with your date in your books or on your paper? Pausing it to get that ready for me now. Beautiful, well done. So, as normal, I have got a 5-a-day starter for you to make a start on here, okay? I really want you to push yourself to get onto that extension question, and it's taken from an exam paper, so it's really important that we have a go at that, okay? So pausing it to do that now. Okay, and 3, 2, 1, pen drop, green pen up, and ticking your answers, please. Pausing it if you need some more time to do so. Okay, beautiful. Really well done with that start today. I'm sure you all push yourself to have a go at that exam question, which is what we looked at in the face-to-face lessons in the first week, so we should all have absolutely smashed that. Remember, we need to do 5 to the power of 3 to give us that 125. Okay, you've got to raise your number to the power as well. So, really great start, guys. Really hard-working, ready to go with your resilience. Really excited about this new topic, okay? So today we are looking at understanding how to find midpoints from coordinates and understanding how to problem solve with midpoints. And this topic for me is really interesting because it's something that we go into depth even more when we study A-level. So we study in even more depth at A-level, and it's really important to give us those skills for A-level maths. So it's fantastic that we're looking at that now. Okay, so a quick bit of retrieval practice before we start then today. We need to be able to find the midpoint or the middle of the numbers 5 and 7 and 8 and 13. And I'm just quickly going to pop over to the visualizer to show you how to do that before we have a go at some quick fire questions on that together. Okay, lovely. So I've got my 2 example questions here then. I'll find the midpoint or the middle of 5 and 7 and 8 and 13. And it's really straightforward. All you need to do is add the 2 numbers and then divide by 2. So for this one, we're going to do 5 plus 7 and then divide by 2. You add the 2 numbers and you divide by 2. So 5 plus 7, good, 12, divided by 2, good, 6. Okay, really straightforward. Okay, the next one, we add the 2 numbers and then we divide by 2. So 8 plus 13, remember when I write it over 2, that just means divided by 2. So 8 plus 13, good, 21, divided by 2. Have a think, what's half of 21? Good, 10.5. Okay, so you add your 2 numbers together and you divide it by 2. Really straightforward, okay? If you need to make a note of that, so write that in words, okay? If you don't know how to do that, write that in words, add together and then divide by 2. Do so, and if you need to get those 2 examples copied down, then do the same, okay? And we're going to move over to go back to our PowerPoint and practice this retrieval practice now. So pausing it if you need to copy it out. Okay, beautiful. And we're back to our PowerPoint now. So can you get the title Retrieval Practice and the numbers 1 to 5, pausing it to do so that I know that you're ready to move on. Okay, wonderful. So question 1 then. Find the midpoint of 3 and 7. Pause. And 3, 2, 1, pen drop, green pens up, and ticking your answer should be 5. Right, to question 2, midpoint of 0 and 14. Pause. And 3, 2, 1, pen drop, green pen up, and ticking your answer should be 7. Fantastic work, guys, really well done. Question 3, midpoint of 4 and 9. And pause. And 3, 2, 1, pen drop, green pens up, and ticking your answer should be 6.5 there. Decimal answers getting a little bit trickier. Really well done, guys. Question 4, midpoint of -6 and 0. Thinking you're adding -6 and 0, then dividing by 2, you're halving it. Pause. And 3, 2, 1, pen drop, green pen's up, and ticking, your answer should be -3. Fantastic work so far, guys. Right, question 5, a little bit trickier now. Midpoint of 5.2 and 3.8. Some decimals there, but we're going to be fine. We're going to be absolutely fine. Pausing it. And 3, 2, 1, pen drop, green pen's up, and ticking, your answer should be 4.5. Can you give yourself a retrieval practice score out of 5 there, guys? Absolutely fantastic work, really strong resilience. We've whizzed through that. You guys are really well set to carry on with the rest of the lesson, okay? What did you get out of 5 today? Okay, so we've been talking a little bit today about midpoints being our topic of learning. And actually, what is a midpoint and how does that relate to maths? Okay, so midpoints, okay, are illustrated here in this diagram. Okay, so this line segment AB here, okay, is a part of my graph, and this chunk between A and B is called a line segment. It's a part of the line or a segment of my line, okay? The midpoint is this point here, and it's in the middle of this line segment, okay? It's halfway along this line segment here. This is my midpoint, okay? So I've got the point A, which is 2, 3. The point B, which is 10, 7, and my midpoint, midway along the line, is at 0.65. Okay, so we can just see a diagram here, okay, of what a midpoint is. So we can just see graphically, that means on a graph, what I mean by that term midpoint. So if you want to pause it now and just have a little look at that and just familiarize yourself with what that means. Okay, good. And I'm just going to show you one other example before we start thinking about the numbers. So this second example, again, I've got my line segment AB. That's the part of the line between AB. Point A is the coordinates 4, 5. Point B is the coordinates 8, 3. And then I've got my midpoint here, halfway along the line at 0.64. Okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to work out how we can find that midpoint when we're only given the coordinates A and B, okay, or the 2 coordinates either side of my line segment. We're going to be calculating how we find the midpoint, okay, when we're just given the numbers, and that's what we're going to be looking at today. Okay, lovely. So moving on to our modelling section now, and we're going to be working out how to find the midpoint when we are given some coordinates. That's what these questions are looking at here, okay? We're given the coordinates of our line segment and we need to find the midpoint, okay? But before we do that, before I move on to the visualizer and explain it step by step, you need to get this formula copied out just like I've done here, okay? The coordinates for a midpoint of your line segment, okay, given in brackets because it's a coordinate, is the sum of the x coordinates divided by 2, comma, the sum of the y coordinates divided by 2. Remembering that that word sum means added together. Okay, so pause it and copy that down now, and then we'll head over to the visualizer. Beautiful. I'm sure that was completed in your neatest handwriting and you've got a highlighted box around it. And I'm going to move over to the visualizer now to have a look at those questions. Okay, so I've got my first question here. Find the midpoint of 2, 4 and 8, 8. Okay? Now, I know that I'm going to be dealing with x coordinates and y coordinates. So before I start, I need to know which number tells me x and which number tells me y. Can you have a think? Good. The first number tells me my x coordinate and the second number tells me my y coordinate. Okay, and I'm just using 2 different colours to represent that today. Okay. Right, now to find my midpoint, I have to do the sum of the x coordinates divided by 2 and the sum of the y coordinates divided by 2, and that tells me my 2 numbers, okay, in my coordinates. Now I'm going to start by thinking about my x number, the first one, okay? So I've got to look at the question and identify which numbers in these two coordinates are my x numbers. Can you have a think? Good. I know my x number is my first one, so it's going to be 2 and 8. Okay, so those are my two x numbers. Okay, so I've got to find the sum of the x numbers and divide it by 2. So I've got to do 2 plus 8 divided by 2, which is, good, 10 divided by 2, which is 5. Okay, so I've found the sum of those two numbers and I've divided it by 2. Okay, now before I move on, I'm just going to have a think about what I've actually worked out there on some scrap piece of paper. Okay, so what I'm doing actually in this question is I'm thinking about my x-axis here. And that's what I've started off by doing. And I'm imagining that I've got my 2 points. I've got my point 24 somewhere here and my point 88 somewhere here. Okay, now I know that the x number, where it hits the x-axis, this first point is at 2, okay, because it's 2, 4. Where this point hits the x-axis, it's 8, 8. Remember, that's our x number. So it hits the x-axis here at 8. Now I know my midpoint is somewhere here, halfway along those 2 points, between those 2 points. And what I've done is I've found this x coordinate here, okay? It's in between 2 and 8. So I've added those two together and halved it. And I know that that's 5. So what I'm doing when I'm doing this, okay, is I'm finding out where these 2 points hit the x-axis. And then I'm finding out the point that's halfway between them where that hits the x-axis. Okay, so we're thinking separately about our x and our y-axis, and we found that our x-coordinate is 5. Okay, so I know my x-coordinate is 5, and I'm going to underline that in blue. My x-coordinate is 5. Okay, so if you just want to pause it and make sure that you've got all of that copied down. Okay, beautiful. So we're now thinking about our y-coordinate. Okay, thinking about our y number now. Okay, our y-axis. So I'm going to look up at the top and I'm going to think, right, what numbers here represent y? What are my y numbers up at the top? Good, and I've got 4 and 8. Again, underlining them so it's clear that that's the y numbers. Okay, so to find the midpoint of those two numbers, I have to add them together and divide by 2. Okay, so what do I get? Good, 12 divided by 2 equals 6. And that tells me my y number. Okay, and then my last step is to put it all together. So my x number is 5. Remember, x goes first. My y number is 6. So that's the coordinate of my midpoint. Again, I can just underline it so it's clear which is which. So my midpoint equals 5, 6. So you want to make sure that you've got all of that copied out, really neatly, ready to have a go at the next example. Okay, so looking at my second example now, and I'm finding the midpoint of -2, 4, and 9, 9. Okay, and it's getting a little bit trickier because I've got some negatives there. All right, and I'm going to start out finding my x coordinate, okay? So I'm going to find out my x number, dealing with my x again. Okay, and I've got to add the two x numbers and divide it by 2. So which are my two x numbers? Good, my two x numbers are -2 and 9. So I've got to do -2 plus 9 divided by 2. What's -2 plus 9? Good, 7, okay? It's the same as 9 take away 2, okay? -2 plus 9. 7 over 2, which gives me, good, 3.5, okay? And that's my x number. My x value is 3.5. Okay, I've then got to find my y value. And which are my two y numbers at the top? Which are my two y numbers? Good, 4 and 9. So now I'm adding up those two. Remember, I did the sum of my y numbers divided by 2. So I get 4 plus 9 divided by 2 equals 13 divided by 2 equals 6.5. Okay? So then bring it all together. What's my coordinate? Good. 3.5, 6.5. Okay? Thinking about those negative numbers, you can use a calculator if you need to. Minus 2 plus 9, negative 2 plus 9. Okay? Thinking about our number line. Okay? Starting at negative 2, going up to 0, you've got 7 more. Okay? Right, pausing it and making sure that's copied down. Okay, so third example now, and we've got some more negatives, but we're going to be absolutely fine. Okay? What's my first step? What do I have to do first? Good. Okay, I deal with my x coordinate. Okay. Right, so I've got to find the sum of my two coordinates. I've got minus 2 plus minus 9. Okay. And what do I do here? I've got minus 2 plus minus 9, and I'm dividing that by 2. Good. My plus minus sign becomes a take away. So I've got negative 2 take away 9. What do I get? Negative 2 take away 9. Good. I get negative 11 over 2. Now, some of you might have done 2 take away 9 is negative 7, okay? Remembering, though, that we're starting at negative 2. Although this becomes a takeaway sign, okay, we're not changing this sign here. We're starting at negative 2 and we're taking off 9, okay? So negative 2 take off 9 is negative 11. So I've then got negative 11 divided by 2 is negative 5.5, okay? And that is my x value. Right, I'm then going to think about my y value. What are my two y numbers above? What are my two y numbers? Good. My two y numbers are negative 4 and negative 9. And I haven't underlined it in colour. I want you to think about it a little bit. Negative 4 and negative 9. So I'm doing negative 4 plus negative 9, okay, divided by 2. Now, what happens to this sign? And where am I starting? In your heads, off you go. Pausing it now. Good. So these two signs become a takeaway. So I've got negative 4 take away 9. And I'm starting at negative 4 and I'm taking away 9, okay? I'm starting here. So I should have negative 13 divided by 2. I'm not doing 4 take away 9. I shouldn't have minus 5, okay? If you've got that, rewind and listen to what I was saying a minute ago. We're starting at negative 4 and we're taking away 9, okay? That gives us negative 13 divided by 2, which gives us negative 6.5, and that's my y coordinate there, okay? So put it all together for me. What's my coordinate of the midpoint? Put it all together. What's the coordinate of the midpoint? Good. Negative 5.5 and negative 6.5. Okay, a little bit trickier there, but really well done. Pausing it now to make sure that's all copied out. Okay, beautiful. So I've got 3 questions now for you to have a go at. I want to see you laying out your working exactly like I've just done, okay? Remember, we're preparing for university. We need our notes to be lecture ready, really, really clear. We need to take pride in the work that we're doing, okay? So pause it now. 3 questions, off you go. Good. And 3, 2, 1, pen drop. Green pens up and ticking your answers. 6, 5, 6, 1, and negative 6.5, negative 5.5. Okay, fantastic work there, guys. Really, really well done. Okay, so moving on then, some really fantastic work here, guys. Fantastic effort there. Really good resilience, really beautiful notes. Fantastic. I'm going to get you now to really solidify this knowledge in your brain, okay, by having a go at some of these questions. Remember, be really careful when you're dealing with negatives, okay? Thinking about where you're starting on the number line, and then if you're taking away which direction you're going, okay? So pausing it, and off you go now. Beautiful. And 3, 2, 1, pens drop, green pens up, and ticking your answer. Let me just move out of the way for you. Okay, so pausing it now to make sure you've ticked all of your answers. Okay, and beautiful. Really, really well done, guys. Some fantastic resilience there. It's really useful skill to have, and I'm really impressed with the work that you've done today. Okay, so moving on then, we are looking at some problem solving with midpoints. And in these questions, we're going to be given a shape and we have to calculate the midpoint. Okay, so E marks the center of the shape here. Okay, it's a square A, B, C, D. E is the midpoint, and we need to use the information shown to find this coordinate E. Okay, I'm going to move over to the visualizer and we're going to have a look at this together. Okay, so I now need to apply some of my knowledge of midpoints, okay, to shape-related questions. Now, I am told that E is the midpoint of this square, okay, it's the middle of this square. And I need to use that information to find out what it is. Now, if I have a look at this shape, okay, because E is in the middle of the square, okay, it is the middle of the diagonal line going through D and B, okay, because it's in the middle of the square, okay, it's in the middle of this diagonal line segment here, okay, so I can use my coordinates for D and for B to find E, because E is the midpoint of this line segment here. Okay, that's what it means when you see that square and it's the midpoint of the square. It's the middle of this diagonal, or it could be the middle of this diagonal if we were given this coordinate and this coordinate. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to find the midpoint of 2, 1 and of 7, 6. Now, luckily, we've just done that. So can you pause it and have a go at doing that by yourself? Good, so you should have been finding the midpoint of 2, 1 and 7, 6. You should have focused on your x coordinate first, ticking it as you go along with me, giving yourselves 2 plus 7 over 2, 9 over 2, 4.5 for your x value. And for y, you should have 1 plus 6 divided by 2, which is 7 divided by 2, which is 3.5, giving yourself the coordinate 4.5, 3.5. Okay? Did you get that correct? Did you get that right? Really well done if you did. If not, take the time to pause it now, maybe rewind and watch some previous examples and check your workings there for me. Beautiful. And we're going to move over now to the visualizer for you to try one yourself. Okay, so just here, I've got another example with a square drawn, okay? And you're going to use the information that E is in the middle of the square to find the midpoint, just like we did before. This time we've got the coordinates 3, 2, and 9, 10. So pausing it, and off you go. And 3, 2, 1, pen drop, green pens up, and ticking your answer should be 6, 6. Okay, fantastic. Right, I've got some trickier questions for you to have a go at now, okay? This first question here is the challenge question, okay? And you need to work out, first of all, what the coordinates of B aren't, okay? And that's going to help you. Remember, it's a square. So how much has it gone up? It's going to be the same going across. So work out what that side length is going up, and then you can find out what it is going across, okay? The rest of them are really similar. So off you go. Beautiful. And 3, 2, 1, pen drop, green pen's up, and ticking your answers for me there. Okay, I found the coordinate points and then the midpoints there too. So taking the time now to pause it and ticking those answers. Okay, beautiful. So you guys have worked so hard today, and I've been really, really impressed with the effort and resilience that we've shown. Okay, I've got three exit ticket questions below for you to have a go at. Okay, so I want you to show me your workings, just like we were doing before. Those beautiful university ready lecture notes need to be there to help you. I want to see each step of your working, really pushing yourself to try all 3 of those. Okay. See you later. You've been fantastic. Bye-bye for now.